trying to stream. You ready for this shit? Oh wait, hold on. Should I? Nah, I ain't gonna do that. Hold on. We finna get right to it. I already know what you're thinking. Oh, this one 20. This one about down to 30 minutes.
Pressure Cake got a low cut.
Big for Bobby Gas. Gay or something.
What? Don't be saying that on my stream, boy. What is wrong with you? Hold on. I'm finna get started. I'm just trying to do something. Okay. I'm gonna take these out.
We got a light on.
So we won't be scared in the dark. Wait, hold on. There you go. Alright. Alright.
Wait, nigga.
Say alright.
Alright, man.
You got a tattoo?
No.
Oh. Alright. No, I'm bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Grammy for who? Who they Grammy for?
I don't know.
You don't know. He said he don't know. Who they Grammy for? Who channel is this? Who they Grammy for? He don't know. I guess we gotta let him know. Grammy for who? Grammy for Jay. Not this Jay though. This Jay. Man, what's going on YouTube? We got a little stream going on. We finna be doing a bunch of horror stories, and you might even play a horror game. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna get scary. Ooh, you gotta call your mama. But anyway, we're finna go ahead and get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Should I turn the light off or should I keep it on? Cause if I turn it off, we might die. We might die. The spirit gonna come out. Light save you. Light is the savior of all mankind when it comes to the spirit world. Don't tell the devil I said that.
We were waiting for you.
I know
Thank
that.
you for having us. I'm Ed. This is my wife, Lorraine. Lorraine looked around the property. The moment our car reached near this house, I saw her behavior change. I could tell from her worried eyes she was feeling something. I'm familiar with this expression on her face. Mr. Donovan was leading us the way. The big two-storied and wooden house stood like a lone wolf in the middle of nowhere. Dry leaves were all over the ground. Please, come in. A woman came and held Lorraine's hand. I could see the fear on her face. I can't thank you enough for coming here. Please help us. Lorraine comforted her, saying, Mrs. Donovan, that's why we're here. You must calm down and tell me everything.
Hey, I'm gonna need y'all to ignore the noise in the background. Somebody wanna be loud as
Lorraine
shit.
and I walked to the living room. The house was really cold. There was a chilling sensation in the air of the house, as if the temperature dropped all of a sudden. We sat down on the couch. Mrs.
What a TV? Like, hold on. I don't need y'all to hear that. That right there, not that. But yeah, what, like, where's the television? I don't see none but pictures, man. Ain't no windows, man.
Donovan sat
Wait a minute. Where's the living room table? It ain't nothing in this house. It's just empty. Y'all might as well leave, man.
next to Lorraine, and
That's
Mr.
fine.
Donovan grabbed a chair and sat near the fireplace. I keep turning the heater on, but still, the house temperature remains cold.
Ooh.
Lorraine and I exchanged looks, because we knew the reason behind it.
Crazy.
Mr. Donovan lit up the fireplace. A maid came and served us hot coffee. I took a sip from the coffee cup and said, "How long have you lived here?" "It's been a few years now, but the incidents
It's been a few years without a TV.
have been happening for the past few months. Everything was going well. We were happy here, but all of a sudden our life turned into nightmares." Mrs. Donovan was trying hard to stop her tears. "Can you please tell us how it all started?" Lorraine said. Mrs. Donovan looked at the fireplace. She kept quiet for some time and watched the flames.
Oh,
It was around 3 a.m. in the morning. Heavy rain and thunderstorms were going on outside. Our daughter Patty was sleeping upstairs, and our son Brian's room was right next to hers. I woke up hearing a whispering sound. I searched the living room and the hallway downstairs. At first, I thought maybe Brian was watching TV secretly, but I found the entire downstairs dark and empty. I was going back to my room thinking it was my imagination when I heard footsteps going upstairs.
Uh-oh.
I ran to see who it was, but there was no one. It was just me, standing alone near the stairs amidst the thunder and lightning.
See,
I went
knowing me, I would have been out. Man, what it called? Fuck them kids. That's what it's called.
upstairs. to
Nah,
check
for real
on
though.
my
I
kids.
mean, I don't know.
Welcome to Raid
Man, come on.
Shadow Legends.
Wow.
If you're wondering
We can't get
just
spooky
what
when they
you're
got
getting
ads.
into, Raid Shadow.
I found Brian in deep sleep in his room. I was about to go inside Patty's room when I heard whispers coming from her. I opened her door and saw she
Whoa.
was sitting on her bed. I asked her who she was talking to. She just told me no one. That she woke up to the sound of lightning. I noticed the windows of her room were shut and locked. Just to be sure, I searched her room. I mean, she is young, and I didn't want any boy to sneak into her room in the middle of the night.
Bruh.
There was no one. So I came back to bed.
What boy finna come over to a female's house for some coochie at whatever? I mean, I know they'll come in like in the night, you know, late at night, you know. But we ain't gonna speak on that. This ain't about me. But in the rain while it's storming, man, are you crazy? Is he crazy?
After that night, bizarre things started to happen in this house. What kind of bizarre things? I asked. One day I woke up and went to the washroom to clean my face. I turned on the tap and splashed water
washroom?
on my face.
The
and as soon
restroom?
as I lifted my head and looked in the mirror, I saw. What did you see, Mrs. Donovan? My face and hands were covered with blood. Blood was coming out of the tap instead of water. The entire sink was red and splattered with blood. Mrs. Donovan hid her face into her palms, remembering the fearful memory. Mr. Donovan replied, "We don't know what's happening here. Last week our car tires started to burst out on their own. No matter how many times I changed them, every morning Patty would find a flat tire.
Patty.
Our kids are terrified, and so are we. You see those pictures on the table?" Mr. Donovan pointed out to the corner of the room. I saw a framed family photo that was kept on the table. Every-
Bro, what wrong with the little boy? See, the son, he look like he doing cocaine. He look like he's the oldest one in the picture. That's what he look like. He look like he high as shit. No, mom, I was just smoking that night. That wasn't ghost. That was me. I'm just smooth.
Every time we hung those pictures, some invisible force knocks them down. Not just that, our wallpapers come off from the walls for no reason. It seems like someone peels them off vigorously. Furniture.
I'm telling you,
moves
that's your
on
son
board.
when he get high.
And now, we are even terrified of our daughter. What's wrong with your daughter? Lorraine asked. Mrs. Donovan started sobbing in a low voice. Mr. Donovan looked at her and said in a low voice, "She's changed. Something got into her. Last night we were having dinner.
That boy your wife was talking about got
Patty
into it.
was sitting beside me when she suddenly looked up at the ceiling and froze. She was staring at the blank ceiling for no reason. I asked her what it was, but she didn't say anything. She then looked at me and smiled in a very disturbing way. "What are you smiling at, Patty?" I asked her. What she said still gives me goosebumps.
Sounds so serious.
Why? What did she tell you? I spoke.
Yeah. See,
Mr. and Mrs. Donovan
perfect example of
exchanged
fuck
a
them
fearful
kids. I'm
look.
telling you.
She looked right into my eyes and said, "You all smell different when you're awake." For the first time, the silence in the
Yeah,
room
like
made
I
my
said,
heart
fuck them
skip a
kids. You
beat.
got.
Lorraine looked at me and said, "I can feel an evil presence in this house, Ed. We need to talk with your daughter. Where is your son? I sent him to stay with my brother for a while.
Your brother
Patty
finna be
behaved
terrified.
badly, and we wanted to keep him out of this house." "Okay, let's go meet Patty then." We all got up and started to walk upstairs. It's time to meet Patty, for whom we came here for. A humming sound was coming from her room. Mr. Donovan pushed the door, and we saw a young teenage girl lying on a bed and humming mysteriously. Lorraine said in a low voice, "Patty, how are you?" She got up on her bed and stared at us with her big blank eyes. Lorraine sat close to her and said, "Patty, what was that song you were humming?" "My boyfriend taught me."
What?
"Is
Well, I
he
tell
in
you.
school?"
That ghost been digging her down, bro. You thought I was bullshitting, bro. That ghost is just trying to get his dick wet, bro. That's all. He snuck in the house to get his dick wet. That's all. That's all it is. In my house, my coochie.
If you
Bro.
only list your vacation home on Airbnb, you might attract someone looking.
"He stays with me in this house." "Really? How did he get inside?" "I called him with a Ouija board. He told me I'm the most beautiful girl in the world." We were
Yeah,
all
she
shocked
tweaking.
to hear this from Patty. Lorraine looked at me with scared eyes. I knew what she was trying to tell me. I got close to Patty and said, "Did he tell you his name, Patty?"
I got close to Patty and said, "Do you wanna build a snowman?"
I'm asking him, but he never said.
This is not as terrifying as the other one,
Patty
bro.
was going to say something. but
'Cause I saw the
suddenly,
country.
she looked
Matter
at
of fact, the
door
new
behind
country
her
came
and
out. I wanna see
froze.
that.
"What is it, Patty? Is someone standing there?" I asked. "He doesn't want you here." "Can you ask him what he does want?" "He doesn't want you
He
here.
wants coochie, man.
He wants you out of this
Why
house.
everybody not
He's
seeing
saying
that?
he wants you all dead." Before we could say anything more, Patty started to scream violently
Oh, shit.
and scratch her face with her
Oh,
nails.
shit.
It was a horrifying scene to watch a young, healthy girl tearing her skin like this. "Oh my God, Patty, stop!"
That big guy Ismo. Scratching like that.
Mr. Donovan and I held Patty down in the bed while
Elmo.
she kicked and screamed like an animal. Mrs. Donovan burst into tears, screaming in pain. Lorraine took her out of the room immediately. We had no other way than tying Patty's hands to the bed to stop her from hurting herself. Within 5 minutes, Patty calmed down and fell asleep, as if nothing happened. We came out of her room and sat down in the living room. No one talked for a few moments, and then Lorraine spoke. "Your daughter must have felt lonely and used that Ouija board out of curiosity. In that process, she invited an evil entity into your house. Now, this demon has latched itself onto her, and all that has been happening to you in his deeds. We must stop this demon before it takes Patty's soul away. Ed, it's time to call Father Jason. We must perform the exorcism today." Father Jason arrived right after sunset. We all walked upstairs. As soon as we entered Patty's room, we saw a horrifying scene. Patty had somehow freed herself and was standing near the window. "Patty? Patty, are you all right?" Father Jason said in a soft voice. She didn't turn back, but her upper body started to bend towards her feet. She looked right
Ugh.
at us with blood-red eyes. Mrs. Donovan screamed and ran downstairs in fear. Patty laughed in a demonic voice. That night, Father Jason and I fought the devil with all our power. Patty was extremely violent. We tied her to the bed but she kept cursing us. I could tell the demon possessed her completely and was reluctant to leave. We chanted our prayers. Pieces of furniture were levitating in the air. A chair came right at me, as if someone threw it to harm me. But we didn't stop. The windows were slamming hard. A gush of wind ravaged the entire room, and the demon and Patty laughed, screamed, but we didn't stop. We had to save this girl. The exorcism went on the whole night. Right after dawn, we saw Patty's body being lifted in the air. It was all happening on its own. Father Jason said his last prayer and sprinkled the holy water on her. As soon as he did that, Patty's mouth was wide open, and black smoke came out and drifted away out of the window. Everything fell silent. Lorraine rushed upstairs and said,
So they just lit.
Ed, it's over now. We've done it. I can feel it. I believe in Lorraine's ability. I knew she was right.
Going to Bayside is going to change our lives. That is the hottest man I've ever seen. It's great.
You say you think gonna come back?
Before starting the story, I would suggest you
See.
guys to go subscribe to the channel.
Man, if you don't get
England. This place is one of our favorite haunted locations, the Borley Church. This place is utterly haunted, and a demonic spirit from the castle latched itself to Lorraine.
wait. The last video, the last animation, bruh. Like, what the fuck? They ain't try to capture it or nothing. They just let that bitch go. Like, what if somebody was just walking in the middle of the night on some dumb shit, and then they got, like, they caught it, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm thinking too deep in it, bro. Niggas walking down the street. Fuck, I can't even whistle. And then that thing, like a nigga busting a nut, and that thing, they got a demon and shit.
To some extent. After visiting this church for the first time,
Demon gonna
Lorraine
say,
had
"I'm
sightings of the
back."
nun, even in our own house. But before I jump into the entire experience of visit,
Yo, what the fuck? Them not tears. What is that? That's wine coming out her eyes, bruh. Them ain't no tears.
visiting this place for the first time, let me tell you a brief story about the history of this place. Borley Church is the parish church in Borley, Essex. The history of the church can be dated to the 11th century. Since that time, the story of the Borley nun has become infamous. The story goes like this. There was a nun who fell in love with a monk from a nearby monastery. Soon, their affair got discovered by the other members of the church.
Oh, wow.
As a punishment for their sin,
Ooh.
the monk was executed. His head was cut off. On the other side, the nun was buried alive inside the church walls. Her remains were later removed and buried in nearby Liston churchyard. Since then, the nun haunts this place. When we came to know about the story, we decided to travel to this place to know if this place is actually haunted or not. I must tell you, we weren't disappointed. It was a long drive, almost about 4 to 5 hours. We rented a small cabin for our stay during the trip.
Yeah, nah.
At around
Me
4 o'clock,
standing in the
we
cabin.
reached our destination. We kept the luggage in our room and headed for the church. The church building stood like a lonely person with its old attire. I went inside, but suddenly realized Lorraine was not beside me. I
Uh-oh.
turned back and saw that she was standing near the church door. Her eyes were fixated on the wall nearby. "Are you getting something, hon?" I asked. She looked at me with a sad face.
That's where she died.
And said, "She couldn't breathe after a while. This thick wall choked her to death." I noticed the wall carefully. There wasn't anything unnatural in its appearance, though. It was just a wall with yellow, rusty bricks. "Let's go," Lorraine said, and started to walk inside. We met the father of the church. He was lighting up the candles. He talked to us for some time. We told him about the story of the Borley nun to see his reaction. He confirmed that at night,
To see his reaction, I'm pretty sure you already know about it. What you trying to see his reaction for? Just talk to the man.
mischievous things do happen here. The church turns into a completely different place after sunset. It was almost and started to get dark outside. We took permission from him to spend a night here. He wasn't very willing, but somehow
spend the
I
night?
managed him.
A bit slow.
After finishing
Spend the
his last
night?
prayer for that day, he headed home. Before leaving us, he warned us that if we see or feel anything unnatural, we must leave this church immediately. I started to set up our cameras while Lorraine...
If you see or feel anything unnatural, it's my powers. I'm the coochie man.
went to take a round of the premise. After being done with the equipment, I looked at my watch. It was 7.
That man got a. I just wanna roll it with a dapper. Look at that. Got a whole rollie. Getting rich off being a ghost hunter. What? A spirit hunter, whatever. A spirit walker.
30.
Shit, I
The
might as
valley
well
was
be a
dark
spirit
and there was
walker.
pin-drop silence everywhere. Just when I was going out to look for Lorraine, I heard her spine-chilling scream. I rushed towards the door and came
What
out.
the fuck? That been running too ugly. Oh my god,
Churchill.
bro.
At some distance, I saw Lorraine standing in the dark.
Bro,
I ran to her.
that shit killing me.
Why are you
That been
scared?
dancing. That man ain't running.
Lorraine pointed out in the empty yard nearby. At first, I couldn't see
That bitch
anything
trying to
but
boogie.
fog and darkness. There was a street lamp right at the end of the yard. It was giving very low light. I noticed the bush near the lamp was
Me, Editor.
Bruh, come on.
The world's most advanced website design platform. Make
I'm about YouTube
Seriously.
Premium soon. I mean, I don't want it right now. I
Still
ain't got no use for it.
Nothing's out there. What did you see? Oh, look! Can't you see him standing there? I turned back towards the bush again, and this time, my skin crawled in fear. What I saw made my spine shiver. A man was standing behind that bush. He was dressed in a black robe, exactly like a Christian monk. The hood on his head made it impossible to see his face. The man was still as a statue. I could tell from his body posture that he was staring at us. I initially thought someone was trying to scare us, because there have been many hoaxes and pranks people tried to pull on blaming the supernatural. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't
I'm a bit slow.
Now you know goddamn well. I don't even know what to say about this one. Wow, dude.
I don't even say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have had like acknowledged it, bro. I was just, you got it. You know, I don't want to fight. You got it. That's. Listen, a demon. That's one thing I would not fight. I'll fight anything else, anybody else. A demon. I mean, I ain't scared of no demon, but like, cause you know, if you be scared of it, then that it has power over you. You know what I'm saying? So like, well, if you
Let that
believe in
go
these
by
type
the
of
day.
things,
Let that bit go by the day.
nah. See, have my Bible on me. Got that stick on me. You know what I'm saying? Not my gun. I'm talking about my Jesus piece. You need that.
try and scare us. I took a few steps ahead to warn that
I'm a bit
man,
slow as a
but
bit.
Lorraine screamed from behind, saying, "No, Ed, he's not human." As soon as she said that, I froze right
Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah, fucked up.
The man
At this
then
moment,
walked
he knew.
towards the street lamp
He fucked
and
up.
stood under it. He then lifted his hands and grabbed his hood.
Ugh.
What I saw next, I will never forget. The man took off his hood, and he had no head. Yes, he was headless. I could see red flesh and white bones gushing out
Yeah,
from his slashed
of course.
neck.
What you?
It was the headless monk.
Are you just
I
not
turned
realizing
back
this?
and grabbed Lorraine's hand. We both started to run towards the church.
Bro,
The wind outside was cold, and it was blowing like a
like
mad
the
dog
animation
all
of
a
them
sudden.
running, bro, is hilarious.
Somehow,
Bro, this man
Lorraine
twerking, bro. Bro, this man said, "Throw that ass back." Oh. Lorraine said, "No, I have heels on."
at the church and locked the door, slamming it hard. Both of us were panting in fear. I was going to ask Lorraine if she was feeling all right or not, but I noticed her face turning pale. Lorraine? What's... Oh my god, we've stepped right into their trap, Ed! What? What are you talking about? What traps? Remember, the church father told us if we see anything disturbing, we must get out of this church.
Oh,
I immediately grabbed the doorknob and tried to open it. I was giving it all my strength.
you stupid
But
thing.
the doorknob was jammed. It wasn't opening, and I realized the haunting spirits here
He started
now
stomping, bro.
locked us inside. Suddenly, the temperature dropped rapidly inside the church. It was becoming icy cold. My camera started to take random snaps. I
Uh-oh.
knew Lorraine and I were not the only ones here anymore.
Of
The
course. What
church
you
bell
mean?
rang 3 times. I knew no one stays here at night. And who the hell is ringing the bell? Suddenly, my eyes went on the wall nearby. It was the same wall that Lorraine pointed out in the beginning.
Uh-oh.
A figure slowly took place on the
Oh,
wall.
shit.
It was a shadow of a nun. Before I could see the shadow more clearly, the candles inside the church went out. It got pitch dark and we heard a woman crying in pain. There was something in her cry that gave me goosebumps. Lorraine grabbed my hand and we stood side
That's
by
the witch.
side in that darkness, expecting all of this to get over. All of a sudden, the church door opened
I would've done
and
it.
the fog outside came in and
I would've
covered
done it,
the
man.
entire floor.
Mm.
It felt like we were having our worst nightmare together. The light from the outside helped us to spot the doorway quite clearly. At that moment, Lorraine
We knew.
whispered to my ears.
We fucked up.
There she comes. I looked and I saw a nun was standing near the door facing her back at us. She was holding an upside down cross in her left hand.
I would just walk past that.
Imagine, huh?
I walked past that bitch like I ain't know. I'm like,
You would have walked past her. Are you tripping?
I'm like, I'm finna go my bike.
You hear this dude? He said you gonna walk past the nun. The nun. One of the most scariest whoever out here that been created. And you listen, when the nun came out, I'm talking about the new. When the nun came out, bro, I don't think I watched it yet.
I ain't watching.
Like the nun, that's probably one thing I cannot watch in the dark, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, I probably would, but I probably wouldn't be able to make it. I probably have to keep pausing that bitch, bro. You know what I'm saying? Turn on a light or something, cause what? You know, demons ain't nothing to play with.
And her black dress was as dark as the night. All the candles.
Everybody
lit
think they
back
gangster
again
till
on
the
road.
demon pull up.
And with this sudden strike of light, she turned
Ugh.
her face at us.
Yeah.
I have never seen such a demonic face in my entire life. Her cruel eyes were filled with furious anger. Blood was dripping from her mouth, and she was staring at us with immense hatred. It felt like she wants every living being on this earth to die at once. She then smiled, looking right into my
That
eyes.
is not a smile.
Her smile was spread from ear to ear, and then she disappeared into thin air. Lorraine and I left for home the very next morning.
Yeah, they said
On the
fuck
ride, When
that.
I asked Lorraine if the nun's spirit tried to communicate with her, she replied, "This is just the beginning yet." When she looked at us and smiled, I heard her saying, "I will see you again."
Come on, dude.
But it's like a damn movie episode.
This happened the night Lorraine and I were returning to Connecticut after investigating the Amityville house in
Connect the
Long
dots.
Island. It was a 2-hour drive on the highway. We started late, hence it got really
Ain't no
dark.
highway, that like a bridge.
Lorraine fell
Ugh.
asleep during the ride.
That's Lorraine?
That bitch old as fuck.
Bro, this must have been 40 years later.
It was a foggy winter night. With nights like these, driving amidst the dark road is one hell of a task. The fog and darkness around us were making it difficult to increase the speed of the car. After driving for almost an hour,
Bro.
we got out on a dusty country road. I did take a shortcut at the beginning of the ride, but by this time we should have gotten on the freeway. I checked the map and realized we were lost. The car headlights were the only option to see what lies ahead.
This man.
There was no street lights on the road. I was thinking of waking Lorraine up and discussing our situation with her, when suddenly I noticed a signboard on my left. The signboard read, "Welcome to Easton, Connecticut." I felt relieved that we are still moving towards the destination. I checked the map again and noticed a path within a mile connecting to the highway. I decided to take that from the next right. I was probably 20 minutes away from the shortcut when suddenly the car started to malfunction.
Uh-oh.
A small jerking took place, and the car stopped in the middle of nowhere. I twisted the car key, but the car didn't start. I tried to start it again.
Because
but
you didn't
nothing
treat
happened.
me right.
I was about to get out of
Who
the car.
finna get out of
when
that car? Not
Lorraine
me.
grabbed my hand. I got a bit startled because I didn't realize she woke up. "What is it, Lorraine?" She was looking outside with wide eyes. I noticed a tense look on her face. Her hand was trembling in fear.
I would've dipped on
I immediately understood.
Who would've got out
that
of the
she
car?
was
Not
having
me.
a
I would've
premonition.
gotten that back seat.
Is something out there, hon?
Got in the back seat.
Lorraine's
That one gonna help
eyes
nothing.
searching
You
here
still in the car,
and there.
motherfucker.
The fog outside started to cover up our car in no time. Lorraine raised her hand and pointed her finger ahead. The ambiance around us got so quiet that I could almost hear Lorraine's heavy breathing. I looked in front of the car, but there was nothing I could see. But I kept staring without blinking once.
I feel like some shit finna pop up on the screen.
Ah,
Boy,
this nigga's naked. This man dancing. What the fuck is this? She's just moonwalking and shit. What the fuck? They going into
Oh
a
my God,
cemetery.
what the hell was that? Something bad happened here, Ed. I should check it out then. No, now is not the time. We'll have to come back later. We must leave now. Lorraine didn't let me get out of the car. I told her that I have to get out to see what's wrong with the engine.
Shaking for
But
it.
Lorraine said in a low voice, "Twist the key. It'll start now." I did as she said, and the car started, shocking the hell out of me.
Man,
None of us said
See,
a single.
I would be scared to be Lorraine's husband, but you gotta be one lucky ass nigga to have a wife like, lucky ass guy to have a wife like Lorraine, bruh. Cause she a lifesaver. Cause if she wasn't there, imagine having a wife that would have said, "Yeah, get out the car, do that." Motherfucker, you would have died. She's your guardian angel in life form, my guy.
A word in the rest of the ride. When we got home, Lorraine went straight to bed without mentioning a single word about what happened tonight. Next morning, when I found Lorraine sitting in the living room sipping coffee, I sat right next to her and said, "You alright, hon?" "Yes, I feel better now, Ed. I need to tell you something about last night, though. I know you have so many questions already. I hope what I'm about to say will answer some of them." I nodded my head and replied, "Go on." Last night, when our car stopped in front of that grave,
This is a
Man, come on,
and its
bro.
mission is to give
Man,
you
Every time
YouTube,
we get to the good part, it wanna
exactly.
graveyard.
YouTube been had to pay me to start playing these ads.
And not starting. But before I could open my eyes and talk to you, I heard a woman's voice whispering into my ear. She said, "I want my son back." That's when
Oh,
I stopped
she
you
was
from
having
getting out of the
sleep
car.
paralysis.
I think we need to go there and investigate. There's an entity that wants to tell her story. I looked at Lorraine for some time. This may seem odd to you all, but I believed her,
She talking about that.
because I have seen things
talking about that little
happen that she warned me about in advance.
What little boy?
You remember that
We
little
finished
boy who went
lunch
over
and
his
started
brother
on the road again.
Nah.
We have recently moved here, hence we knew
This is a
nothing
totally
about this
different story.
cemetery until last night. At around 2 p.m., we reached near the cemetery. The place looked just as normal as any other burial site in the daylight. We started to walk inside. The worn-out graves stood in silence. Judging by the condition of the tombstones, it was evident that this graveyard had been here for a very long time.
Of course.
We roamed around for a while, when I noticed a small wooden cabin under the shade of a bushy
Cabin
tree.
in the woods.
Lorraine started to walk towards
That
the
ain't a
cabin.
good thing.
I followed her without saying anything. When we reached the door, we heard the sound of a radio inside the cabin.
Oh, hell
I
nah.
knocked on the door. "Hello? Is there anyone here?" Making a creaking sound, the door opened slightly. An old man with a rough beard peeked from the gap. "Who are you? What do you want?" Sir, I'm Ed Warren. This is my wife, Lorraine. We live in the neighborhood nearby. We would like to talk to you about this graveyard." The man checked me out from top to bottom,
Is that her son?
then said in the same mysterious voice, "What is there to talk about a graveyard? I don't have time for this. Go back to where you came from." The man was closing the door on our face when I stopped him and said in a
What?
firm voice, "I'll pay you if you give me the information we need about this place." The man eyed me
Bro,
and let us both in.
so you know how many graveyards that I don't been past, like, in the daytime, of course. Yeah, yeah. But just imagine something like that happened. Like, we just cruising down the road at night, probably trying to go back home, or probably going out of town, whatever, at night. And then, you go past the graveyard, and this shit happens. Cause, like, I don't know, it's just like, whenever I watch stuff like this, and then when I'm actually, like, not experiencing the ghost stuff, but experiencing what they went through, I'd be thinking about shit like that. Like, damn, it's a graveyard coming up. What that shit happen? You know, type shit.
It was a really dirty cabin with a weird smell. Lorraine
Smells
wanted
like
to
Jalen.
sit. The man sat on a chair nearby and said, "Ask." Lorraine said in a hesitated
Who you
voice,
think he is,
"How
Moses?
long have you been working here?" "Long before you came into this world." I was really not enjoying his attitude, so I intervened, saying, "Have you seen anything at night?" The man's face suddenly turned pale.
Of course.
He said in a low voice, "Why are you asking me this?" I had to tell him about last night, to give him a clear idea about why we were here. He listened to me quietly, and then said, "It was Harriet.
Tubman.
People call her the White Lady of
Alright,
Wisdom.
let me stop playing.
You aren't the first one who saw her. Many people who passed in front of this cemetery claim to have seen her. One evening, a man was driving down the road in his pickup truck. He was about to pass the Union Cemetery when, out
The hell's
of
wrong with his
nowhere,
pickup truck?
a woman appeared in the middle of
What?
the road wearing a white dress. The man couldn't slow down in time and struck the woman. He pulled over and came out panicking.
Yo, he got out.
Ran her over. Out of fear and guilt, he searched the entire area, but the woman was nowhere to be seen.
I would do it.
She searches for her son. You can see her grave in the right corner at the end of the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to finish my round and leave for home. I said in a surprised voice.
I heard
"You
that
stay here at night? Only a madman would
the
come
only way
here
your
at night.
spirit like, you know, do stuff like this is if you have
I don't need your money." The man
How do I
was very
say?
rude, but we got what we needed.
I don't want to say die
After
with the
visiting
burden.
Harriet's
I
grave,
want
we
to say
talked to the local sheriff.
I don't know.
and came
I guess
to
I'll
know
just say die
Harriet
with the
B.
burden.
Celie
I say
had
it
a
like
son who
that. I
died
want to explain it
before her in
deeply, but
1853.
I don't know how to explain it.
Since then, she grieves here at night, searching for her dead son. We went home to bring our cameras. Yes, Lorraine and I planned to spend a night in this cemetery. At around 9:30, we came back.
They trying to spend the night
Needless
everywhere.
to say, the entire place was looking spooky.
They
as
just be
hell.
begging to die.
I set up a camera right in front of Harriet's grave. Then we waited for things to happen. We were standing under a tree some distance from the grave. Our senses were sharp. I was ready to act if something happened, but even after waiting for half an hour, we didn't see anything. I was getting impatient, but Lorraine was focused. Her eyes were searching everywhere. I was about to make a move when suddenly, Lorraine said, "Do you hear that?" "Hear what?" I whispered. "Listen carefully. Someone's crying." I kept quiet and listened.
Oh shit, that's the
After
witch.
a few seconds,
Turn
I
your
too
flashlight
heard
off.
the sobbing sound. It was a female voice. A woman was crying in pain. On that cold winter night, drops of sweat appeared on my forehead because the sound started to come closer. It was as if the woman was crying and walking. With each second, her weeping voice was coming closer and closer. We didn't make a move and stood in the dark staring at the foggy graveyard in
1855.
front of our
Jesus
eyes.
Christ.
What I saw next still gives me goosebumps.
Oh
A
shit.
white figure started to rise from the grave. It was a woman wearing a white gown,
What the fuck?
but the way she moved seemed like she was floating in the air. She was weeping in terrible pain. Her cry echoed in the empty graveyard. Her long dark hair was floating in the air as she moved from one side to the other, grieving for her dead son. "Ed, she's in pain. I can feel her pain. Oh God." Lorraine collapsed on the ground. I knew the negative energy around us was taking a toll on her. I lifted her and decided to head back to our car.
What happened to her
As I
son?
looked up, the woman was nowhere. I made Lorraine sit in the car and
Maybe
went
fell
back to
asleep.
get my camera.
Oh, huh.
I tried to be as quick
How'd
as
it do?
possible. I was almost near Harriet's grave when a spine-chilling scream took place, and I saw hundreds of white lights levitating in the air.
The
It
hell?
was her, the White Lady of Easton. She appeared in front of me and screamed in pain one last time. I heard her sobbing voice. "I want my son! I want my son!" The white figure then faded away in the air. We came home and Lorraine suffered terrible weakness for 3 days. I still have the footage my camera took that night. Luckily, we did capture the ghost of the White Lady. Lorraine keeps it lock and key, as it is a valuable evidence that proves ghosts and demons do exist among us.
So they didn't try to.
That's good shit.
They didn't try to like help her get a son back, you know? Man, if you don't get on with this bullshit. Which one? This one.
Last month, I took my wife on a road trip.
Last month I took my wife on a road trip.
9 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. I could finally take some break from work.
Hey, damn, man,
Not
help me
bragging,
out.
but
Shit.
I am glad people loved my content and showered me with love. Anyways, we were driving amidst the woods. My wife, Marzia, loves traveling. I turned on some music and rolled down the windows of my car. The weather was soothing. Cold wind combined with the sweet smell of wildflowers refreshed us. I am loving this. This place is so quiet, isn't it, Felix? Yeah. Hey, can you hear the sound of the crickets? Isn't it unusual to hear them chirping in daytime? Well, they say it's always night.
Sound like birds.
Tall trees were surrounding us. As I tried to look into them, I realized Marzia was right. Even in the broad daylight, the woods appeared to be dark and mysterious. I got distracted looking at the woods on my left, when suddenly Marzia screamed, "Watch out!" I immediately looked ahead, and out of panic pressed the brakes too hard. The car stopped, making a creaking noise. "Oh my god, are you alright, hon?" "Yes, I'm fine." What was that?" I got down from the car and walked ahead to check. There were rotten remains of a
Ugh.
deer lying in front of our car.
Yeah, I would've got back in the
Marzia
vehicle
came
and
out
went around.
stood
I don't play with
beside
that.
me. Some car must have run over this poor animal,
The
I
deer.
said.
What you gonna do? Drag it out the road?
Why
I
did you
bet.
say that?
How much you wanna bet that's
Look
he
at
gonna
the
do?
stomach area. Marzia pointed to the stomach of the dead deer, and I realized she was right. The deer's stomach was cut open.
Ugh.
Someone sliced up these poor animals, making the entrails gush out. It was a pretty disturbing sight. The smell's making me nauseous. I'm gonna go inside the car. Marzia got in the car and closed the car door quite loudly. I picked up a long wooden branch lying on the side of the road and started to move the dead animal from the middle of the road. While I was doing this, I heard footsteps on rustling leaves coming from the woods. These
Boy, you
woods are
better
completely
run, run.
wild, and it's absurd to think that there could be a house or
Run.
residence inside it. I turned around and kept staring at the darkness amidst the
Run.
long tree. "Felix, what's taking you so long?"
Exactly.
No-
She's trying to help you.
nothing.
So you gotta listen to your
Nothing
girl
in a minute,
sometimes.
huh?
Sometimes your girl
The
be
sound
right, bro.
stopped
Run.
as soon as Marzia called for me, even though I was 100% sure
I like-
that
well,
those
most
were
of the
the
time
sounds
your
of
girl be right,
footsteps on
but-
dry leaves. I
Yeah.
ignored them. After moving the dead animal from our way, I came back to the car. I started the engine and we took off again. We planned to visit our friends at their farmhouse. The farmhouse was quite far, hence we decided to go by road. Marzia wanted to enjoy the view of nature, hence we made this plan. I wanted to reach the farmhouse before dawn, because driving amidst the woods after dark is not a good option. There's a high chance of getting lost, and due to network issues, our GPS wasn't functioning properly as well. While driving, something really
Yeah,
weird
alright. Due to
started
network
happen.
issues, alright.
Marzia and I both could smell a reeking odor inside the car. It was odd because none of us stepped on the rotten flesh. Marzia got nauseous, so I had to stop the car after traveling for a mile or so. I
Let the
think we
window
need to get
down.
some fresh air. The smell of rotten flesh has hit your mind. It'll take us 1 or 2 hours before reaching the farmhouse. It's 3 p.m. already, but I think we can take a break for 15 to 20 minutes.
Shoot.
I thought I would drive faster
2
a bit
minutes,
and reach the
30
farmhouse
seconds.
before dawn. I just wanted to make sure my wife felt all right before I started driving again. "Do you hear that?" Marzia said in a surprised voice. "Hear what?" "The sound of water. Lots and lots of water." I tried to listen carefully and heard water splashing rapidly somewhere in close distance.
Oh nah.
Damn.
It's time to go.
Marzia has way better hearing than mine. It could be a river or a waterfall inside
Your
the
woman
forest.
is a dog in
Let's
human
go see
form.
it. I don't think it's too far from here. We started to walk into the woods, following the sound of water.
Oh yeah, they
So
tripping.
many unknown birds were chirping around us. The rustling sound of leaves made us feel that we weren't alone in these woods. After walking for a mile like this, we finally reached the source of the sound. It was a wild river. The current was really heavy, and the water flow was a lot. Marzia sat on the bank, dipping her
What?
feet into the water. I was a bit worried because of the heavy current, but she was careful on her own, so I didn't say anything. The view was breathtaking. Green trees were all around.
No,
There was
it's
a
just
light
little
blue
nighttime
sky
through
and
those
this
woods.
huge, unstoppable river. I could breathe the fresh air without any worry. I took out my phone and started to click pictures. While I was doing so, my eyes went to the other side of the river. I saw a creepy-looking man standing on the other side of the river and watching Marzia with his
Well,
dead, cold eyes.
Time to go.
I wanted to tell him to get lost, but he wasn't doing anything, just standing under a tall tree and watching us.
How you gonna tell somebody to get lost from a public place?
Why is he
I mean,
staring at us
you
like
didn't
a
tell nobody to get lost,
Ignore
but
Marzia.
still,
Must be
it's a
some
public
homeless
place. You
person.
can't tell them what to do.
Marzia was dangling her feet in the water. I was
Aight.
happy to see her all charged up and relaxed at the same time. I thought to wash my face in the clear river water, so I walked towards
What?
the edge and crouched on the ground to touch the water. Hon, can you please hold my phone while I wash my hands and face? Sure, give me... I gave her my phone and started to wash my hands in the cold, clear water. Marzia took the
Yeah.
phone from me and started to click pictures. She walked into the shallow water
Oh,
some
no.
distance from the bank. Now she was standing in the river. The water level was up to her knee. Please don't go too far, hon. The water current is really strong in the middle of the river. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Oh
I
Lord.
got busy washing my hands.
Oh my
As soon
God.
as I splashed the water on my face, I saw the man on the other side wasn't there anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I immediately heard my wife screaming out loud. I looked and saw Marzia was drowning in the river, and that creepy man was pulling her. She was screaming like crazy.
Bro.
I jumped right into the river without wasting a
Dun,
single
dun,
second.
dun, dun.
By that time, the man had pulled Marzia into the depth of the river,
Bruh.
and now he started to swim away towards the opposite side of the river, right where we first saw him. I knew that if I didn't catch her soon, she would float away due to the water current. I swam as fast as I could. I saw her hand floating away, and I realized I wouldn't be able to reach her in time. Suddenly, I noticed a huge log floating on her left, stuck in the mud deep down. Grab that log, hon! Grab it, now! The heavy water flow mixed with the fear of being pulled down by some creepy stranger might have numbed her in pain. But thank God she stretched her hand and grabbed the log with all of her strength. I swam with more speed, and with great difficulty I caught her hand and pulled her right from the water. When I sat her down on the bank, she was panting and sobbing in fear. I looked at the other side, thinking that if I caught that psycho, I would choke him into this river. But he was nowhere to be found. We didn't stay there for one more second. We got inside the car, and I don't know why, but I went to the back to check the trunk. I realized before leaving from home I forgot to lock it, and as I opened it, my stomach dropped in horror. There was dirt all over the trunk.
Oh,
A foul
wow.
smell was coming from it. And not just that, I saw torn out shoes lying inside the trunk.
Wow.
I realized that the dead deer we came across was nothing but a trap set by that same creepy man who attacked us a few moments back. While we were talking and inspecting the dead deer, the man might have crawled inside the trunk and came all this way with us. The reeking smell in the car was coming from his body. I still don't know why he tried to
Stinking
kill us,
ass.
or even followed us.
That's
But
your
a
ass.
few months later,
Nasty.
after this incident, I read about the mysterious death of a high school teenager. The cops said she went hiking in the woods with her friends and got into the same river for a swim, but somehow she floated away in the current. But her
Bruh.
friends said she was suddenly dragged by an unknown force into the middle of the river, though they didn't see anyone suspicious around. Do you think it was just an accident? Or is that man still there, waiting for his next victim?
That's Trevor.
Before
Trevor out here
starting this
kidnapping
video,
people
I
again,
would
bro.
suggest you guys to go subscribe to the channel. It turns out that most of you guys who watch me aren't actually subscribed. So, it's free.
I was about to say what was going on here. If you don't get this on my screen, YouTube,
And quite popular
That's
during
what
the
I thought.
quarantine phase of 2020. And I still regret making that one Zoom call that ruined 4 lives. I'm a 45-year-old housewife living in Montana. After the lockdown got declared, we all got locked up in our houses. But to pass the time, I often talked to my friends using Zoom. Every night after dinner, we connected through a Zoom call and chatted for at least an hour or so. My son was studying in Australia, and my husband died in a car accident 10 years back.
Wow.
So I've been living alone for quite some time
Tragic.
now. My friend Joanna lived with her old mother. She didn't marry.
Your friend
My
look
other
like she
friend
know how to do
Molly
voodoo.
lived with her husband. We talked about our daily life mostly.
All y'all know
Suddenly,
look like y'all know how to do voodoo.
Joanna's mom passed away. One morning, Molly called me and gave me the bad news. It was painful for all of us, because Joanne is now completely alone, and this time she badly needed us to be there for her. But we were unable to see her for obvious reasons. The only option was to connect her through a Zoom call. But as the week passed, Joanna became more and more depressed. Whenever we called her, she hardly talked. She just sat in front of the screen with a sad face. Molly and I tried to cheer her up. We even planned to take a trip once the lockdown was lifted.
See, I heard like when you like really down low in life or down bad or whatever, that's when demonic things like try to take over you, you know. Cause like it's much easier for them to get you. But hey, who knows? Let's continue.
But Joanna didn't show any excitement. Molly often told me, "Give her some time, Ivy. She'll be fine." There was nothing else I could do at that moment, so I waited for Joanna to float back to life. I realized that it would take some time, but didn't know the change would occur so fast and unexpectedly. Joanna suddenly stopped attending our Zoom calls, or any calls for that matter. She completely disappeared from our lives, cutting all ties. Molly and I called her neighbor, Mr. Cromwell. He said, "Joanna hardly comes out of her house. At night, I could see candles.
Joanna hardly comes out of her
I'll
house.
check on her tomorrow and let you guys
Looking
know."
at
The next day
Hang on a
was
bucket
Sunday.
hat.
I was waiting impatiently for Molly to call me. She said she'll connect Mr. Cromwell in a conference call so we can both know about Joanna. Around
you scared,
1
huh?
o'clock in the afternoon, Molly finally
I
called
ain't know
me.
what hell.
That been
I
too
picked it
scared.
up immediately and heard her voice from the
That
other
boy
side.
said, "Just cry."
"Ivy, Mr. Cromwell is on the line with us." "Hello? Mr. Cromwell? Did you see her today?
Mr.
How
Crowbar.
is she?" "Hey guys, I just came from Joanna's house.
He just got nothing beating his
She's
meat.
not the same person anymore. I know, Mr. Cromwell. Lately, she's been going through a lot.
What the?
Molly and I keep calling her, but she never picks up our call. Don't know what went... No. You don't understand, Ivy. Joanna looked completely fine at first. She was smiling. But then she told me something that freaked me out." "Why? What did she say to you?" Molly asked. "She told me to come in and have a slice of her mother's freshly baked plum cake." "What?" "But her mother..." "Exactly. I think she's having trouble believing that her mother is no more. You all should call someone to take care of her." Whatever Mr. Cromwell said in the call shocked Molly and me to the core. I called Joanna right away. I made up my
Uh-oh.
mind that if this time she didn't pick up the call, I would drive to her house. But thankfully, she did pick up this time. "Hello, Ivy. How are you?" "Joanna?
The hell?
Where are you? You didn't pick up our calls or even talk to us for the last few weeks. Are you all right?" "You don't have to worry about me. I'm completely fine now. See you guys at the Zoom call tonight." She disconnected the phone call before I could say anything.
The hell?
But one thing I was happy about is the upcoming Zoom call. I informed Molly that Joanna will be joining us again tonight.
That's
She
how Muggle
became
being
excited
there
too.
for
We decided to confront Joanna about her health at the video call.
Our mom
That
spirit
night I
probably be
finished
down.
dinner
I don't know.
early.
We're gonna see.
Molly's husband was out on a business trip, so we connected on the
Oh,
video
shit.
call early that day. Molly texted the Zoom call link to Joanna, and we waited for her to join the call. Molly and I were talking casually until Joanna came in. When she arrived,
But that password is so
we were
easy,
shocked
bro.
to see our friend as soon as her video flashed on the screen.
The hell?
Joanna was sitting in a dark room. The lights were turned off, but the room was filled
What
with
the hell are you
candlelight.
doing?
It seemed very
Oh, John.
spooky and uncomfortable to me. "What have you done to your room, Joanna?" "Oh, goodness, no, Ivy. This isn't my room. This is Mom's room. I sleep here from now on." Molly said in a worried voice.
What?
But why, Joe? I know you feel lonely.
She
but
might
you
think
have
her
to go
mama
forward with
is
your
still
life.
alive.
This isn't the way to.
What if
why
her
would
mama's
I be alone? I could
spirit
see a weird look in Joanna's eyes, as if Molly had said
is in
something
her?
absurd. What do you mean? Joanna, darling, we all miss your mother terribly. She was the nicest mother one could have, but you have to accept the truth. She's no more, Joe. What are you saying, Ivy? My mom's not dead. She's right here with me. Yes,
What?
I know. She will always be with you, watching over you, Joanna. Please, don't be so hard on yourself. No! You are not getting it! My mom is right here, with me, right in this room, right now! The hair on the back of my neck stood up immediately. What is she saying? Molly said in a panicked voice. What? What are you saying, Joanna? Your mother's dead. How can she be in that room with you? Oh my God! Can't you see her? She's right behind me.
What?
Joanna's eyes widened as she kept on making such bizarre claims like a lunatic. Joe, please stop behaving like this. You're scaring us, Molly said in a sobbing voice. Now I get it. You can't see her because of the darkness in my room. Wait, let me show you guys. Joanna stood up and lit a candle.
Holy shit.
She then placed the candle right next to the bed on a wooden table. What I saw gave me goosebumps. A woman was lying on the bed, facing her back to the camera. Joanna got up holding the tablet in her hand. She then said in a spine-chilling voice, Mama? Mama, look! Molly and Ivy are here. They want to talk to you, Mama. She then looked at
No,
the
they
camera
don't.
once again and
Fuck
said,
that. I would have left the
"I'll turn
Zoom
on
call.
the back camera so you guys can see her face. You guys will realize how peacefully she's sleeping here."
The hell?
What in the hell is she doing, Ivy? Molly screamed in terror. I was speechless because I didn't know what to say. There was indeed a woman lying on the bed. As soon as Joanna turned on the back camera,
I knew it.
we
Yeah,
realized
we
that a
did.
living nightmare can be. There was a corpse lying on the bed. Maggots were crawling on its face. The
The hell?
eyes were hanging on the cheeks.
She did.
Did she
It
go
was
dig her
evident
mama
that
up?
this is a dead woman's corpse that had just started to rot horrifyingly. Molly screamed and fainted on the ground. Joanna kept laughing like a maniac. I
That
could
bitch
hear her
fainted.
saying, "Look, Mama, look, my friends are here to see you. They weren't believing me when I told you you were here with me, but now look at their faces."
Hey, she went and got her back in blood. Shit. Bruh.
Damaged hair? Get an extreme solution. Meet Redken Extreme.
Weird.
Joanna now is in a mental institution. I called the cops and her neighbor, Mr. Cromwell. We came to know that Joanna stole her mother's corpse from the hospital morgue and brought it home. The fact of losing her mother hit her hard. Molly and I are going to go visit her tomorrow. It's just terrifying to see what grief and loneliness can do to people.
Daisy was driving
Yeah.
against the storm.
Oh, you scared? She had the crib by herself. She's scared.
Hard to drive properly.
What the?
The raindrops bolted on her car like heavy
What the hell
rocks.
was ad for a second?
Daisy said to herself, "Damn it. We should have listened to my friends." Daisy went to a party at one of her friends' house. Despite living far away, she decided to head home. Her friend Tina told her that it would be better if she stays back. There's a storm coming. But Daisy didn't listen.
You
The
don't
rain was
listen.
heavier, and it became almost impossible to see the road.
Hey, but she got a Chevy,
A
don't?
flash of lightning took place in front of her car. Daisy pressed the brakes so
What kind of
hard
toes are those, bro?
making a loud squeak.
She been biting her toenail
She
nasty
checked her
ass.
phone,
It's a challenge
but
on
there was
my
no
body.
network
Yeah, I was finna say that.
call.
I was finna say challenge
She
at
felt very
first.
helpless in the middle of nowhere.
Back in the day, John.
Suddenly, her eyes went to the left side. With another stroke of lightning, she saw a small house.
Yeah, nah, she goofy.
She came out of the car and ran towards the house. Daisy was adamant because this was her only chance to survive the night. Panting and breathing heavily,
Yeah, nah.
she reached the house and knocked on the door. "Anyone here? Please open the door."
Why don't you just get in the car, turn around, and go back to your friend's house?
She knocked again. Hey! Please help me. I'm lost. Please open the door.
As a man, I would have never opened the door. Oh,
Oh,
shit!
yeah.
What the hell?
A white-bearded old man opened the door.
That'd
The
be
man
green.
stared at Daisy with creepy big eyes and said, "What do you want?" Daisy replied,
That's a horse.
"I've lost my way. Do you have a phone so that I can call someone for help?"
Can he not see that's a grown man?
There's a phone.
Can you not hear the voice? That is a grown man, bro.
It will work now.
That is a man. That's not a woman. Whoa, you see that?
Let's get dead here.
Bruh.
Raid is a
I know one of these just went off 2 seconds ago.
for both PC and mobile.
The man moved away, and Daisy entered the house.
I would have walked
It
in
was a small wooden house with no electricity. There were candles everywhere. The ambience in the house spooked Daisy a bit. She walked towards the telephone and picked it up to dial Tina's number. No matter how many times she tried, the line remained engaged.
He got so many demonic pictures on the wall, bro.
If you want, you can wait for her.
Look at that horse. I knew it. He a horse.
You can drive back. This road goes back up to the nearest town. Daisy smiled awkwardly and said, "Okay, thank you."
Okay.
The man gave her a cloth to wipe her hair, then offered her a glass of wine.
Yeah, nah.
Daisy sat near the fireplace. She was feeling chilly. She looked around to see the house more clearly. She then asked the man, "I'm Daisy, and you are?" The man replied in a serious voice, "I'm Joe.
My name Jeff.
Call me Dead Joe."
Wait,
Daisy's
go
eyes
back.
widened in
What?
fear.
He said you call what?
I'm Joe. People call me Dead Joe.
I don't know.
Daisy's
Mhm.
eyes widened in
I didn't even hear that.
She said in a hesitant voice, "What? Why do people call you that?" Joe replied, "When someone dies in the town nearby, they bring the body to my house. Did you see the vast field behind my house? That's our local graveyard.
What?
I'm in charge of burying the dead here. This has been my family business." Daisy got up
That's
in
no
fear
funeral.
and said, "What? You keep dead bodies in your house?" Joe started to laugh hysterically. Daisy said, "I'm going to leave now. The storm has stopped." She went towards the main door to leave, just when
No,
Joe
sir.
grasped her hand tightly. Daisy looked back at him and saw his eyes had turned white. There were no pupils inside of them. Daisy screamed and said, "Let me go! Please! Leave my hand!" Joe got close to Daisy's face and said, "They are coming. They all can't help but see me every night. They used to scare me before, but now I like their company. Look, there they are." Joe pointed out through the window. What Daisy saw made her stomach drop in horror.
Haven't played Crossout before? Now is the time. Crossout is a free action-packed game where you grab.
There were black shadows outside. They were coming towards the house while floating in the air.
The hell?
Their whispering voices made her ears numb.
I thought that had a
Daisy
gas
screamed and pushed Joe away.
Yeah.
Joe kept laughing like
I
a
punched that
maniac.
bitch.
The shadows started to cry, scream, and laugh. It was as if a group of demons were coming to suck every drop of blood from Daisy's body. Daisy could see their glowing red eyes.
Time to go. Got a blast.
The shadows were rushing towards the house. Daisy opened the door and rushed towards her car. She got into the car and locked the door.
You really don't
The shadows kept
believe it.
laughing. Their laughter made Daisy realize what hell felt like. She looked at the door for one last time and saw a rotten corpse was standing there, waving her goodbye.
He was
He was
dead.
wearing Joe's clothes. She started the engine and drove full speed to the same direction where she was coming from.
She could have been did that.
Minutes
Exactly.
later, she finally got the courage to tell Tina about the house and that vicious night. But what Tina said shook Daisy from the inside.
What'd she
Many
say?
years back, a guy named Joe used to live in the town outskirts. He ran a funeral home. He often claimed that he could see dead people. Everyone in the town thought he had lost his mind from being amongst the dead for so long. One morning, a woman was coming from the road near his house. She smelled a disgusting smell all around the area. After following the smell, she found out it was coming from Joe's house. The main door was locked from the inside, so she came back to town and told everyone about the weird encounter. The town people broke down the main door of Joe's house and got in. They found Joe's rotten dead body lying on the floor. And what was even more terrifying than that was his eyes. They were all white, as if there were no pupils inside of them. The local doctor thought he saw something horrifying and died from a heart attack. No one knows what he saw or what exactly happened to him. But still, when someone goes in front of that house at night, they can still hear Joe's laughter and weird whispers coming from the house.
No, sir, Bob. Couldn't have been me. Yeah, nah. Shit, I don't know. I could live in the country, but at the same time, like, yeah, nah, I need to be in the city,
I was
you know?
in college when I met Nina.
Not too much in the city, but in the city.
We became good friends in a very short span. She was bubbly and cheerful. We two became popular in no time. Her boyfriend, Matt, often held parties at his farmhouse. We used to go there, get drunk, and pass out. I mean, we were young, and who thinks about the future at that age? Nina was a jolly, cheerful girl. Every boy in college had
I think about my future.
Every girl envied her for her popularity.
I think I'm here.
It was a rainy afternoon. We didn't go to college that day. Nina and I were chilling in our hostel. I was watching videos on my phone lying on my bed. Suddenly, I saw Nina coming out of the bathroom wearing revealing clothes. Hey, where are you going to go in this rain? I asked. No, stupid. I'm not going anywhere. I have to click some pictures for my OnlyFans account. You have an OnlyFans
What the
account?
fuck?
Yeah. How else do you think I buy all these
She got
clothes?
OnlyFans.
Nina's a shopaholic because she spends a lot of money to buy clothes, makeup, and all. But I didn't know she has an OnlyFans account. I said in a worried voice. But, Nina, do you think it's a safe way to earn money? I mean, there's so many creeps out there, and what if someone takes advantage of your photos? Relax. I don't show my face in those pictures. And anyways, no one is interested to see my face here. I felt a little relieved that at least she is keeping her identity hidden. Since that day, Nina often dressed up and clicked photos to post on her account. She didn't tell her boyfriend about that and made me swear not to tell anyone either.
Oh,
She was my
wow.
best friend. I had to listen to her.
She didn't tell her
One day,
boyfriend?
Nina and I went to work out in the college gym. We were exercising on our own when suddenly we heard a squeaky voice behind us. You girls come here often? Turning back, we saw Miss Stanley. She's our librarian. Hello, Miss Stanley, I said in a cheerful voice. But she didn't even look at me. Instead, she said to Nina, You have a beautiful figure, darling. Nina smiled, saying, Oh, you are so sweet,
It
Miss
looks
Stanley.
familiar.
She checked her out from top to bottom and said, Is that a mermaid tattoo on your waist, Nina?
Uh-oh.
Yes, Miss Stanley. You like my
It
tattoo?
looks familiar.
Miss Stanley laughed and walked away. She is fond of you, it seems. She didn't even reply to me. How rude. I said in an upset voice. Oh, my little Portia.
She said she
You are
trying to
beautiful
fuck.
too. But you need to be attractive to catch people's eye. I won't lie that it didn't feel insulting, but I knew Nina said this casually. She didn't mean it like that, so I shrugged it off, smiling awkwardly. Let's go. We'll be late for the party, Nina said.
Baby, welcome
That
to the
night, we went
party.
to Matt's house. It felt like the entire class came to this party. People were going crazy. Some were jumping in the pool, getting drunk, while some vomited on the floor and passed out. Nina drank a lot that day. I tried to stop her, but she ignored me, so I got a bit aloof from her too. I saw her dancing near the pool with Matt when suddenly her phone rang. She left her phone with me, so I saw an unknown number flashing on the screen.
Oh, no, sir.
I walked to Nina and handed her the call. Yes? Who is it? Wait, There's too much sound here. I can't hear you. Just wait a second. Nina went out to take the call. I came back to my seat and started to talk to my friends. That night, most of us stayed back at Matt's house. I woke up hearing Matt shouting out loud. Then where the hell did she go? How come none of you saw her leaving? Come on.
Oh,
Someone
wow.
say something. What happened, Matt? There you are, Portia. Where's Nina? You must know where she is. I scratched my sleepy head and said, I don't remember. She was here only. But what happened? Matt replied in a panicked voice. Nina is nowhere to be found. Since last night, no one has seen her. I even called the hostel. She didn't go there. Neither is she in class. I have called 1,000 times since morning. Her phone is on switched off mode. That was the last night I saw my best friend.
Scenario is not insurance.
Bruh, come on, man.
Cost-sharing membership where people
Every time he gets to the climax,
one another's
or get close against the climax, you know?
Nina went missing. The college ran searches all around the area. The cops got involved. We were all questioned and interrogated several times, but no one could give any information about her. 3 days went by. Nina's parents were crying all day. Everyone in the college was shattered in fear. What happened to a young girl all of a sudden? I told the cops that she got a phone call from an unknown number. She went to take the call outside, and since then, no one saw her. I had to tell them about her OnlyFans account as well. Various kinds of rumors started to spread in the college. Some said she got abducted by a creep from this OnlyFans site. Some said she probably went somewhere and will be back soon.
That lady that they saw.
Something bad happened to my best friend. Suddenly, the cops found footage from the CCTV cameras placed on the light post near Matt's house. In that footage, they saw Nina coming out of the house. She stood on the sidewalk and looked left and right as if someone was going to arrive.
Oh,
She
wow.
took some time more, and within a few minutes, a truck came from the right. She got close to the truck to see who it was, and suddenly, the driver's side window rolled down. The driver didn't come out of the truck, but Nina got into the truck.
Oh, wow.
It implied that whoever was in the truck was known to her. Even though the cops didn't see the truck driver, they could spot the license plate number of that truck. And the next day, our college campus got flooded with cop cars. Cops came and arrested Miss Stanley. Yes, it was her truck. She picked Nina up in front of Matt's house.
I knew it.
But once Nina got inside her truck, she never came back. The cops searched her house and found 2 dead bodies in her basement. One was her husband, Mr. Stanley.
I knew it. It had something to do with the husband.
Was Nina. The entire
knew it.
college was shocked as hell. Miss Stanley murdered Nina? But why? After 2 days of strict interrogation, Miss Stanley finally confessed. She said her husband was cheating on her with Nina. He
I
first
knew
saw
it.
her in OnlyFans and got into an affair with her. Miss Stanley said her husband was spending a lot of money on Nina. She fought and told her husband to leave her many times, but he never listened.
See?
I saw her confession.
And I knew Shorty was cheating, bro. She didn't tell her boyfriend she had an OnlyFans.
These girls think
That's
they
an automatic
own this
cheat
world.
right there, bro.
I recognize that this is the bitch who's wooing my husband the moment I saw her mermaid tattoo. I had so much fun beating her to death when she screamed and screamed. I even made my husband watch her die. I said to him, "Are you not enjoying this, darling? You enjoyed it when she posed for you like a slut on OnlyFans. Are you not enjoying this now?" My best friend was beaten to death by this psycho woman. She stabbed her husband to death. Sometimes I sit in my room and rewind that moment when Nina went to take the
Well, I'm not gonna say she's psycho, but I'm also not gonna say that she is not psycho. If I didn't say it the first time. Okay. Fuck. I'm not gonna say she's psycho, and I'm not going to say that she's not psycho. Love is a crazy thing. Love is a drug.
Out of a window. It's been 2 years now,
So, yeah.
and he hasn't spoken.
Don't play with love.
No one
Don't
knows
play with
what
people's heart
happened
like
to
that.
him. He was shifted here directly
But
from
still, I'm
the
not saying
hospital.
she's right though.
The doctors at the hospital said Richard was found unconscious on the side of the road. He was heavily wounded and was bleeding terribly from a serious head injury. A generous man took him in his car and brought him to the nearby hospital. The doctors at the hospital managed to save his life, but Richard didn't say a single word. They found out his whereabouts from the cops. One thing is sure, that none of them knows how a renowned scientist ended up in a mental asylum. What happened to him? 3 years back, Richard was a completely healthy and happy man. After finishing his college degrees, he took a job as a junior researcher in Canada. He worked there for 2 years and did quite good for himself. He received acclamation for his notable contribution to medical science and bought himself a house in North Carolina. Richard stayed here during his graduation days. He joined as a lecturer in his very own university in North Carolina. Life settled for him. Every day, he woke up, made himself breakfast, and then drove to the university. It's a 15 to 20 minute drive to the university from Richard's house. His class continued till 5 p.m. at the university, and after that, Richard worked on his research papers at the university lab. The work pressure was so much that Richard never had the time to feel lonely. One night, Richard was driving home after work. He was feeling exhausted and tired. All he wanted was to reach home and lie down on the bed. The road was empty. Huge trees stood at the side of the roads. The shadow of the trees, combined with the dim streetlight, made the night darker. The bright headlights of Richard's car showed him the way. Richard looked at his watch. It was 10:30. He was used to driving home late at night. Richard rolled down his car windows and cool air touched his face, giving him some refreshment. He was thinking to turn on the speaker, just when his eyes went to the left side of the road.
Uh-oh.
Why
She
is
was trying to make him
walking
get it back
alone
blood.
in the middle of nowhere at this hour of the night? Richard thought to himself. He slowed down the car and went close to
Is she
her.
walking in the dark
"Hello,
road
miss.
like that in the middle of
Is
the night
everything
with no
all right?"
problem?
The girl
Leave.
didn't reply. She didn't even turn back once.
Exactly. See?
She just
Leave.
kept walking,
That is your
like
cue.
before.
Get out of there.
Miss? Do you need a ride?
Bro.
How far will you go?
Bro.
Well, my house is 10 minutes from here. Where are you going? To my house. It's near the lake at the end of the road. I will take the left turn ahead. Richard realized that this girl was going in the opposite direction of his house, but out of concern for a girl walking alone late at night, he said,
He's just trying to fall.
I don't mind dropping
He's
you
trying to
off,
get the
miss,
dick
if you're okay with that. The girl turned around. Her eyes were wide and bright. She had a beautiful face, but her skin
that.
looked so pale.
Fuck
There was
that.
a painful expression on her face, as if she forgot to smile forever. She didn't sit beside Richard. She walked to the other side of the car and sat in the back seat.
Hell no.
Richard felt a bit insulted by her behavior, but then he thought that she might be feeling scared.
The back seat?
Richard
No,
started
sir.
his car without wasting any time.
Fuck
He would
that.
drop her and then head home. The girl was sitting quietly. She's just too quiet, Richard realized. The girl took off her red jacket.
Oh, no, she
Richard
getting a little
rolled
too
up the
comfortable now.
window and turned on the car AC for comfort. It gets extremely hot in summer in North Carolina. Take
Oh, this
the
is
left
North Carolina.
The girl
I was just there
said
not too
in the
long ago. Oh
same
my god.
soft voice. Richard took the turn and kept driving ahead. He knew she would let him know once they reached near her house. After driving for 5 minutes in pin-drop silence,
Yo.
Richard decided to speak up. So, you live with your family, miss? He asked. Just me and my mom. I see. So, what do you do? Are you a student? I was, the girl replied. It was becoming tough to make conversation with this girl, because she showed no enthusiasm in talking to Richard. Hence, the awkward silence once again took place in the car.
She's a
But
bit
the
too
silence
odd
didn't
for
stay
me.
long this time.
Yeah.
Richard was driving on the empty road, with no one around. Suddenly, they came in front of an old cemetery, and the girl's behavior changed drastically. She started to scratch the car window with her nails, while screaming violently. It was as if she was dying to get out of the car. What's wrong? Why are you screaming like that? Open! Let me out! Let me out! What the hell? Richard unlocked the car door. The girl almost bolted out of the car and ran inside the graveyard. Richard's heart was beating like a drum. He had no idea what just happened. Richard came out of the car.
Oh, hell no.
Miss, where are you? He called out for that girl, but she was nowhere to be seen. It felt as if she disappeared into the darkness of the night. Hopelessly, Richard got into his car again and returned home. He was about to get out of the car when he noticed a red jacket lying on the back seat. This must be the girl's jacket.
That was a ghost?
Richard decided to visit her house the next morning and return her jacket. He needs to check out.
And what if her mom was alive,
Richard
but
took
she
a
had
shower
died?
and finished his dinner. The entire night,
And
he couldn't help but think about that
then
girl. Don't know
the mom
why,
was like,
but
my
she
daughter's
seemed
jacket.
so
Where'd you
familiar
get it
to
from, you know,
Richard.
type shit. And then like,
While thinking all of this,
and he was like,
Richard
I
fell
got it from your
asleep.
daughter. He was like, that's impossible. My daughter's dead. And then he realized, we just gonna see how this go. We gonna see how it go. All right. I ain't
When
trying
he
to call
woke
out the
up,
story.
Sunlight was flooding into his bedroom. He got ready, and he decided to drop by the girl's house after work today. Richard took the red jacket and started the car engine.
This
the same
man
road
key, bro.
that was appearing spooky at night is now standing like an artist's landscape. Richard finished his work after class and left for the girl's house. When Richard saw the lake at the end, he realized the girl's house is not far. The moonlight made the lake water glitter in the dark. After 2 to 3 minutes, he saw a small wooden house on his left. The house looked quite old. With hesitation, Richard rang the doorbell. A few minutes went by, but no response came. He again rang the doorbell. This time, he heard slow footsteps approaching the door. A feeble old woman opened the main door. She seemed old, but her face looked older from sorrow and pain.
What if the story that I was
Just
saying
like
was
the
true?
face of that girl from
And
last
by the
night.
way, I've never seen this.
Ma'am, my name is Richard.
I really never
I
seen
gave
this.
your daughter a lift last night while she was coming home. I would have dropped her home, but she got off near the cemetery without saying why.
She was trying to go
She
back to
even
her
forgot her
grave.
jacket in my car. I hope she got home safely last night. I just came to give her jacket. If you can... Ma'am? What's wrong? Is your daughter all right? This can't be my daughter's jacket. There's no way that she could ask for it.
Bro, see what?
Why not?
I knew it. I was right. I was right. Hold on. What the heck? Hold on. I was right.
7 years since my daughter was found dead in the
What?
cemetery.
What'd I say? She was trying to go back.
She gouged her eyes and cut out her heart.
Ew.
She died a horrible death. My poor Lydia. The woman broke down into tears, holding the main door. Richard noticed a big photograph hanging on the wall nearby. The same girl from last night was in the photograph, except she was standing in front of the science lab of North Carolina University. Oh my God. It was her. Richard stumbled back to his car. He remembered her. The car took up speed as Richard pressed the accelerator hard. Richard remembered this girl. It all happened during his college days. One night, Richard was wandering around, being all high in the graveyard. He took a challenge proving that there was no such thing as ghosts. He thought he was the only one around in the cemetery, but suddenly, he heard a girl screaming at the top of her lungs. He followed the screams and found 3 people torturing a girl.
Oh,
Richard
wow.
hid behind a bush and watched those men conduct a satanic ritual at that hour. At the end of the ritual, Richard saw those men sacrificing the girl and attempting to take her life. Richard was extremely scared. He ran away that night. When the cops discovered the girl's body, Richard kept his mouth sealed, even after seeing those men who murdered her. Richard kept quiet to save himself from trouble. He behaved like a coward, and maybe this is why Lydia came to take her final revenge that night. After meeting Lydia's mother, Richard was rushing home. He was out of his mind. He couldn't believe he gave a lift to a dead girl last night.
I knew it.
A sense of guilt mixed with fear numbed
see,
Richard's mind. He was almost near the turn
It's like
when
the
same
story is
girl
kinda
from last
obvious
night
now, you
came
know?
running towards his car from the bushes.
Ew.
Her eyes were hollow. There were no eyeballs in them. There was a big hole in her chest where her heart should have been.
Whoa.
You could have saved me! You could have saved me! Richard screamed with seeing this vicious figure. Ah! And drove his car into a nearby tree.
This man
He hit
tweaking.
his head, but somehow dragged himself out of that car and started to run on the road. He didn't. look
Yo.
back. He was scared, as he thought the girl might be following him. Still, he fainted on the road that night after running for some time. It's been 3 years since. Richard hasn't spoken a single word, but today Richard heard two investigators talking to a man. They were standing near his room. The man was saying, "The Foundation has named her SCP-1337, the Vanishing Hitchhiker. We're still researching about her. There's a lot more we don't know yet. But the tough part is to find out how did she end up being like this. Should Richard tell them how? Or is it too late already?"
Like, okay.
Sales event
Fuck.
is going on now at
Goddamn.
all Prince Automotive locations in Tipton, Albany, and Valdosta.
I would say it's too late, but at the same time, it's not too late because he can get the real story out there. But and then like people will start questioning it, and it might flip on him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's a good idea. You know, because then they were like, he killed her. You know, yada yada yada, this and that. But man, we're gonna end it right here. Cause I might actually do, I might finish it tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, we're gonna end it right here, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe and share. You know, get me up there, and then you know what I'm saying. We're gonna be square. Let me shut the fuck up. Corny ass nigga, man. I don't be worrying about my rhymes, man. I got bars for days. What you talking about?